25 minutes before 10 o'clock. I was watching this video, and this guy was bragging about how many books he reads per day, like one or something like that. And he was basically saying that information is the way to improve yourself. And I think that's what we do here. I don't know that we absorb it all, but we deliver it all anyway. We host it all. And if you're looking for information on getting a great job, one of the best pieces of information you can get is from those folks over at CareerSource. Laura Burns is our go-to person for CareerSource of Citrus, Levy, and Marion counties. And she's the communications manager over there. And today we get to meet another pretty lady. Robin Fraze is in the studio. She is the business development project coordinator for CareerSource. And so I'm going to let actually Laura introduce us to Robin. Good morning, Laura. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing super well.
And I can say good morning to Robin, too. So good morning. We got two Robins in the studio now. So
that's right. We have two Robins.
Well, so good morning, ladies. I don't know. I did that awkwardly, didn't I? But anyway, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, I want to start off right away with the very exciting news that yesterday we had the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity release the numbers for January employment. Now, typically nothing's released in February because that's when they do their annual benchmarking where they realign, readjust, and for us they revised our historical data back to 2013. And we are pleased, we are tickled pink to learn that once again the Ocala MSA leads all of Florida's metro areas with the fastest job growth rate in the state.
Wow.
So that is extraordinary.
Why is that?
Why is it that we have the fastest job growth rate?
Yeah.
No, it's not the most jobs. There are other areas like Orlando or Tampa that added more jobs. But in terms for our per capita, for our size, we have the fastest job growth rate, which is 5.5%. For the Ocala MSA, we added really 5,200 jobs over the year. January.
What does the MSA stand for?
Metropolitan Statistical Area.
Okay.
Which is actually Marion County, all of Marion County.
Okay. So we are adding more jobs. For why are we adding more jobs?
Well, that is a really good question, but that is certainly the trend that we have been seeing for a couple of years. You might recall that in August of 2013, Forbes magazine came out with Moody Analytics listing of the fastest projected job growth in the nation. We ranked 5th.
They must have been right.
And they certainly must have been right. And throughout that year, month after month, DEO reported that we led all the state metros with fastest job growth rate. And then last January, when they did a benchmarking, we sort of went off the fiscal cliff. They said, oh yeah, all that job growth that we've been reporting, yeah, it didn't happen. Well, that really didn't track what we were seeing.
Oh, really?
We know that employers were posting, 1,000, 1,600, 2,000 and more jobs every month.
Wow.
We know that we have been placing an average of about 1,000 to 1,200 people in jobs.
So does the other side of the fence reflect that? Does the unemployment rate show that? In other words, is that number getting lower?
Well, over the year, absolutely. Over the year, it is way down. Now, when you compare January to December, what we see is a very typical seasonal spike in unemployment. That happens because
people get those temporary jobs.
Those holiday hires are now, their job has ended.
Right.
So what we see is statewide, that has always happened. It's routine. It's nothing to get panicked about. In fact, 66 of the 67 counties saw their unemployment rate go up a little bit. Ours was not a lot, just a little bit. And then that readjusts by February, March, April. Then, of course, we have the summer spike. So,
anybody who is looking for a job, I absolutely, truly believe that the best thing to do is go to CareerSource. I mean, you are really the connecting point for these jobs that you're talking about, right. And you have some really good jobs that you represent.
We do, and on the other side of the very other important side of that coin is the employers. So when you're looking for your skilled talent, you come to us.
And neither of you pay. The employers,
right. There's no
that's the amazing part of this. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up because we do have a job fair coming up March 26th. It's the first time we've had it at the Marion Oaks community. And we have, I believe, 14 or 15 employers who have committed to participate. American Panel, they were one of our guests here a couple months ago.
Right.
Bent Oak Farm, Family Caregivers, Home Instead, Kids Central, Maxim Healthcare, Pilot, Southeast Milk, Spherian, Two Men in a Truck, a number of...
Two men in a truck?
2 Men in a Truck,
Oh,
yes.
I thought you said 2 men in a dress.
2 men in a dress.
Well, that would be, yes, 2 Men in a Dress will be there, so come on by.
2 men in a truck hire people?
Apparently, they
I guess
can
it's more
only
than 2
hire
men.
2. No, but we have a soft skills job prep or a job prep workshop this Friday. It's going to look at soft skills that employers value. I would say that employers demand. Targeted resume, preparing your 60-second infomercial, your elevator speech.
Right.
This is a great workshop for anyone who hasn't been to a job fair. Come to that workshop, and you can find out information on CareerSourceCLM.com.
Okay. Now we get to speak to Robin Fraze.
Absolutely.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
So let me see your title. Let me see if I can guess what it means. Business Development Project Coordinator. So you work with the businesses as opposed to the employees?
I've done a mix of both. I think I've kind of carried the title as I've done different things within the company. I started as a customer service rep, and I've been a business liaison, and I've done recruiting, case management. So right now it's Business Development Project Coordinator.
How long have you done it? How long have you been doing this?
I've been with the company for about close to 10 years.
Oh, wow.
With a brief sabbatical, year and a half sabbatical. But
Oh, you had a baby or something?
no, I went to work in the private sector.
Oh, this is not the private sector? Your job is not considered private?
Well, more for-profit.
It's kind of a
For-profit
okay,
sector.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, so when you're working with a business, do you screen them in the same way that an employee would be screened, or how does that work?
It's to screen the businesses if they're going to post a job with us.
Right.
We do. We will go to sunbiz.org and look them up, make sure they are valid, they are who they say they are. We do regular checks and balances. Is this a 1099 position? Is this a W-2 position?
Oh, right.
Those kinds of things. We check for legitimacy. All of that. I
I
don't
had-
necessarily do that, but
I had a 1099 job once in this business in radio.
Yeah, it
I was
can-
so surprised at the end of the year. I said, "What?
oh, they didn't tell you?
Yeah, I didn't know. And I had to do my own taxes and everything."
Oh, yeah.
It's like, wow.
It's about a 28%. We tell them we can post at 1099, but if they're saying it's 1099, they want to pay $10 an hour, we have to educate them and say, you know what, it's about 28% that they have to pay out of pocket. So
Yeah.
you need to pay accordingly.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be a surprise.
Yeah.
It was for me.
I imagine.
Both of us. Yeah.
So you discourage companies from paying $10 an hour. They need to up that so a person can have a living wage and still pay their own taxes.
We try to. I mean, we know it's a fine line. They want to make money. It's
kinda hard.
But ultimately, it's about retention. So if they pay well, they will get to retain people and not have to turn around and hire again.
Really? So do they ever learn anything from you guys? Does a business who comes to you, I mean, an open-minded, smart person would say, oh my gosh, I never thought about adding the dollar amount or adding the, like the healthcare or things like that?
We do. We've helped with things. A lot of things we do are like to help with the job description. They may not have, it's hard to hire someone
Yeah,
when you
I
don't know
bet,
what
yeah.
they're doing. So we have a lot of resources that we use to help them with that.
Does the job description, is it in stone? Is that, because a lot of times I've taken jobs and I've taken on other duties in the job, and the next thing I know, the job description has changed because of me.
Right.
I've actually done that, and I'm guessing I'm not the only one.
No, and hopefully if you're working for a good company, they'll recognize that value
Yeah,
and pay you accordingly. But, most job descriptions have that caveat at the end, other duties as assigned.
Right, which is
So-
cleaning the
which
toilet. And
Could be. Yeah.
we are up against the clock, and so we have to take a little break. Laura Burns is here from CareerSource. I'm not hesitating on the CareerSource. I'm hesitating on the counties. It's Citrus, Levy, Marion, right?
Absolutely.
CareerSource, Citrus, Levy, Marion. We were talking about this morning, that I don't know much about Levy County, except for Williston. I just don't get over there that much for some
get
reason.
over.
I'm in Citrus and Marion. All right, we'll take a little break and be right back with Laura Burns and Robin Fraze after this. This is The Source, 12 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in, and let's continue talking about jobs here in our area, not just Marion County, but Citrus and Levy as well. From CareerSource, Laura Burns is here with Robin Fraze. We're talking about what they do. And it's real easy to get a job or to find an employee. You just contact you guys, right? That's
Right.
how you start the ball rolling?
You hit the nail on the head. I wouldn't say it's really easy to get a job. I mean, that's not, if it was easy to get a job, everyone would be employed. But it is certainly easy to tap into our resources and to have us help you get a job. And then we have a lot of success doing that.
So you said you have a networking thing you want to let us know about?
Yes.
Sure.
Robin has one. Okay.
It's called the Professional Networking Group. We call it P&G for short. We've been doing it for about a year and a half. We developed the program because the professionals, they have fewer opportunities. Their fields are more specialized, so there's stiffer competition. Often the positions that they're interested in are not advertised because they are so specialized. So, some of the requirements to become part of the professional networking group would be you just have to meet one of them, either have a bachelor's degree or 5 years of supervisory technical experience, or have been making $40,000 for the last 5 years. And there are multiple elements to it. The main part is the retooling and refueling for professionals. It's kind of like boot camp for professionals for job search. It's 3 half days, and they learn how to create their personal brand. They learn about goal setting. While we cover resumes, we also go the extra step and cover video resume. We talk about interviewing, but we also talk about Skype interviewing, and they get to hands-on to play with the tech. We talk about optimizing their LinkedIn profiles. We've been having picture day lately because they're already dressed up. We make them dress up, just to get in the practice of doing so.
Yeah.
And so we'll have the picture, and then I'll take it home and kind of Photoshop it and make them, take a few years off, and then they're ready for prime time. And
Do
they
it
can,
for me.
Right, and then when we do the LinkedIn workshop the next day, then if they want to upload their picture, they can do it then. We talk about face-to-face networking techniques, as well as social media, because as we know, 70% of jobs are found through networking these days. So that's the main part of it. And then once you graduate from that, you meet one-on-one with me, and we, after you take all this information and you kind of, they do a thing and they're like, well, maybe my resume is not as strong as it should be, or I need assistance with LinkedIn or what have you, or I want to develop a targeted company list and do an outreach campaign, and I need some assistance. So they'll come meet with me, and we'll address that. Another piece we offer, we have P&G networking events where they network with other classes that have been through Retool and Refuel, and they can just sit down and, it can be a gripe fest. These are the frustrations I'm experiencing. They can share some successes or techniques that are working for them.
Right.
But during those, we also bring in subject matter experts. Some of the things we've done have been, like we've had employers come in and do mock interviews and kind of grade everyone.
Oh, wow.
And so they would.
Do they ever actually get an employee doing that when it's a mock?
They haven't yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
Not yet. But it's been really helpful. They end up with, at the end, like a report card. And when it's one person that says something, you may not take it. You may just take it with a grain of salt, but if you have 3 or 4 employers and they're all saying
that's
the same
interesting.
thing.
Any examples, or am I throwing you a curve with that question?
Things like if they don't make eye contact, or they don't smile.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
They're
Everything.
talking to you like this? They're not looking at you?
Yeah.
I'm trying to not look at you.
But yeah, they do. Or just quirky things. Yeah, those kind of, or they don't stay on topic is one that's kind of common. They just kind of get flighty and go off on a tangent. So they need to be, real.
That works sometimes, though.
It does to the best of us. Let's see, and other things we've done with that has been, our next one coming up is going to be volunteering and informational interviewing, just kind of increasing your visibility, get out there. And also, if you haven't been working in a while, you get that experience of being someplace and being around people and contributing day to day.
I want to ask you, maybe this is for everybody, but when you say that a resume isn't strong enough, if you look at your resume and fact for fact, it's all accurate, like this, that's the job I had, that's the salary I made, boom, 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 boom. And I'm told it's not strong enough. Not me. I haven't done a resume in years, but somebody else. All right. What kind of things might be added to those facts to make it a stronger resume?
Well, we're big proponents of having a targeted resume, which means it is targeted not just to the industry that you're seeking, not just to the job title you're seeking, but to the actual job description that you're reading. It's you put your resume up against the job description and you go word by word. Can I do that? Yes. Does it appear on my resume?
Okay.
Yes. And we also say it's kind of like an ingredients list. Employers want, when you read an ingredients list, it starts with the most prevalent ingredients at the top. Just like the things they value most are going to be at the top of their job description.
Usually, yeah, you would think so. You would hope so.
Yeah. So the order of your resume should be the same.
Oh, okay.
That's the kind of thing we talk about, strengthening it. And
Also, if you could have very factual information about your job history, but if you have some gaps in that history, that's a red flag for employers. If you haven't included your volunteerism, maybe you've done, you
Good
were
point.
doing some bookkeeping for
Good
your
point.
church.
Yeah.
Put that in there, if
Right.
you're, especially if you're an accountant.
And I guess like if you're part of I don't know, like a networking group, I mean, that would probably will hold some kind of weight, I would guess, right?
you could
And
include
if
it.
you've been taking some extra courses, that.
Do you know one
throw
thing
that
I
in
would
there.
look for if I was an employer looking for somebody is somebody who could learn. Because there's a lot of times when you mention software skills or soft skills,
Soft skills.
Okay, I've often thought, well, a lot of times you'll meet somebody who has no clue how to use whatever software we use, whatever tech, but they're so good at learning it, and that would be more important than knowing it. Because a lot of times nobody knows this stuff.
Right.
But if you a lot of these college kids, I mean, can just pick up this stuff like it's nothing.
Well, that you bring up a great point. We have what's called on-the-job training grants, and if you, as an employer, find someone who you feel like just would fit your corporate culture, you really like them, but they don't have experience in your software or that program or what have you, an on-the-job training grant can offset their costs to you while you are training them to learn whatever your state of the art is.
That's amazing.
And that's a terrific program.
Yeah.
When you're helping companies and you're helping them with their job listings, sometimes some companies say they're bonded or not bonded. Can you explain what the difference is between that? Because sometimes companies don't know.
The federal bonding?
Yeah.
Isn't that for if they have somebody, it might have barriers in their background, some issues like that, then there's a program to help hire folks who might have had a criminal run-in at one point.
Okay. Criminal run-in.
Yeah, they have some background.
They have some background issues.
That's what you're saying, record.
Yeah, because some companies say they're bonded and insured.
And I think they need somebody who is bondable.
Right.
Is what they need in an employee, and we can help with that because
Right.
it's kind of, we have an agreement with it's a coverage, and it's like an insurance plan.
Oh, okay.
For the first year of work, if to ensure they're not going to do this, it's a certain amount of money.
Right.
Oh, wonderful.
Laura, you've brought up the culture of a business a lot, and do you ever see, like, do you speak to somebody? It's like, okay, like this is a very laid back place. Everybody shows up in blue jeans, and this is a guy with a suit. He might not fit in. Does that ever come into the equation?
Well, you remember when we first started all this, Rainey's was our first guest on this
Right,
program.
right.
And what a fun, fresh, different kind of environment. So, somebody maybe more corporate with a suit and tie
Right.
who, might not feel comfortable in that environment. So, I mean, that's something that you take into consideration, but really that's more on the employer's side, when they're interviewing.
They do that.
to
But
suss
you
out.
might get the wrong idea. You might think I have to dress for success. You might have read the book wrong or something, and maybe that is the real you.
You
or,
still dress for success
Yes.
regardless.
For the interview, even
yes.
if you see them in flip-flops and shorts, at least bring some,
Yeah.
come up in khakis and a polo shirt.
Right.
Don't dress just for that.
Right.
And also a good way, we do recommend that people do research about the company before they go for the interview, whether it's on LinkedIn. You can see people that work there, and you can look at their profile and get an idea of the kind of people that work there now, the kind of
Do you
people
know what I
that
heard?
they hire.
The new prejudice is? It's tattoos. Like people are prejudiced against people with tattoos. Has that ever happened in the job market? I mean, yeah.
I've been hearing that it's less prevalent.
Because to me, I'm seeing more and more full sleeve tattoos.
Oh, I know.
mean, what we typically say is, if you've got a tattoo, you
To me, I couldn't even imagine judging somebody on artwork on their skin.
No, I don't.
But-
I don't see that as a real issue.
Oh, really?
It's less than it was. I mean, the stigma is less. One of my gentlemen, neck,
Really?
neck, full sleeves, and he was
Really?
going to work with youth, and they love him. And
Sure.
so,
Gosh, I knew a guy with a tiny little tattoo. He was in the Navy, Frank?
Yes.
And he had to wear a Band-Aid on it. It was so small a Band-Aid covered it, but he had to cover
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But that's not the way it is in your experience. It's not such a big deal.
That is really an individual employer's call. I mean, you can't.
Well, it
it's
would
really
be
hard to
discrimination
screen
in a
out
way.
for that.
Yeah.
Well,
It seemed like you were talking about administrative personnel for all of the criteria. Do you do personnel that are doctors?
We've worked with doctors before, yes, and microbiologists and things that I can't pronounce in radiographic studies, yes.
You know, you look like Wonder Woman. I just realized who you look like.
Yeah, she
Do-
does.
do you
I get that.
Do you get that all the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
is a Wonder
Do you
Woman.
sing? You have a really wonderful
No,
voice,
I
no?
do not. Wow.
She looks like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she's
What was that
embarrassing.
lady's name? Wonder Woman?
Linda Carter.
Linda Carter.
Carter, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Diana Prince, her alter ego.
Okay.
All right. So what do we do? Talk to the employers and the employees? They just call you or go online?
Yeah, 1-800-434-5627. Or visit us at CareerSourceCLM.com.
If you're looking for a job or if you're looking for an employee, either way, CareerSource is my recommendation. Laura has taught us a lot about what you all do over there. Robin Fraze, nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. I hope I didn't embarrass you too much.
It's okay.
But
Thank you.
you know what? I do that to every guest. So.
Okay, good.
Every
She's got her
single
lasso,
guest.
though. She's got her magic lasso, her rope.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Robin said that. This Robin. I said nothing about ropes. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.